crosses are blue. Your friends didn't make it through. Out of the night and out of the dark, into the fire and into the fight. Well, that's the way the heroes go. Ho, ho, ho. Through a crack in Mother Earth, blazing hot, the molten rock spills out over the land. And the lover's the lover who licks your boots away. Hey, you don't want to fall as well, but better start the dance. Do you wanna dance with me? Start doing it right. Music's playing, the notes slumber empty of sound. Over the rooftops and houses, lost as it tries to be seen, fields of incentive covered with green. Mesmerized children now playing, meant to be seen but not heard. Stop me from dreaming, don't be absurd. I can experiment further still. Madrigal music is playing, voices can faintly be heard. Please leave this patient undisturbed. Sentenced to drift far away now. Nothing is quite what it seems. Sometimes entangled in your own dreams. You're tired and ill. With your consent we can experiment further still. Well, thanks to our kindness and skill, you'll have no trouble until you catch your breath and the nurse will present you the bill. Was it summer when the river ran dry? Or was it just another dam? When the evil of a snowflake in June could still be a source of relief. Oh, how I love you, I once cried long ago. But I was the one who decided to go to search beyond the final crest. Though I heard it said just birds could dwell so high. So I pretended to have wings for my arms and took off in the air. I flew to places which the clouds never see, too close to the deserts of sand, where 1,000 mirages, the shepherds of lies, forced me to land and take a disguise. I would welcome a horse's kick to send me back, if I could find a horse not made of sand. If this desert's all there'll ever be, then tell me what becomes of me. A fall of rain, there must have been another of your dreams, a dream of nightmare. thunder, clouds and rain. But to the multitude who stand in the rain, heaven is where the sun shines. The grass will be greener till the stems turn to brown, and thoughts will fly higher till the earth brings them down. Forever caught in desert lands, one has to learn to disbelieve the sea. If this desert's all there'll ever be, then tell me what becomes of me. A fall of rain, that must have been another of your dreams, a dream of The streets were deserted, though the police were alerted. They considered the phone call a hoax. Furtively glancing, then jauntily prancing, the youth caught the guards unaware. Slipping between them, he ought to have seen them, the eyes and their own are so near. With torch shining bright, he strode on in the night till he came to the room with the safe. Hello, son, I hope you're having fun. You got it wrong, sir, I'm only the cleaner. With that he fired the other, saying as he died, you done me wrong, it's the same old song forever. nearly touch me until that day I ride your crime wave. If they try to hold me for trial, I'll stay out of jail by paying my bail. And after I'll go to the court of appeal saying you've done me wrong. It's the same old song forever, forever. Done me wrong, same old song. 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 Blue girls come in every size. Some are wise and some otherwise. They got pretty blue eyes. For now a man may change. For now her face looks strange. Looks strange, looks strange. Marching to the promised land, where the honey flows and takes you by the hand, pulls you down on your knees, while you're down a pool appears. The face in the water looks up, and she shakes her head as if to say that it's the last time you'll look like today. Sail away, away, rivers never come back. Gone to the other side. Sail away, away. The face that launched 1,000 ships is sinking fast. That happens, you know. The water gets below. Seems not very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. Angels never know it's time to close the book and gracefully decline. The song's found a tale. My, what a jealous pool is she. The face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say that the blue girls have all gone away. Sail away, away, rivers never come back. They've gone to the other side. Look into the pool. bored of the life in the city of gold. He'd left and let nobody know. Gone were the towers he had known from a child, along with the dream of a life. He traveled the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another to share in his life. But nowhere, everyone looked so strange to him. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? They cried and wept as they led him away to a cage. Beasts that can talk read the sign. The creatures they pushed and they prodded his frame and questioned his story again. But soon they grew bored of their prey, the beast that can talk, more like a freak or publicity stunt. Oh, no. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and broke down the door of the cage and marched on out. Grabbed the creature by the scruff of his neck, pointing out, beyond the bounds of your weak imagination lie the noble towers of my city, bright and gold. Let me take you there, show you a living story. Let me show you others such as me. Why did I ever leave? They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and wept. And so we set out with the beast and his horns and his crazy description of home. After many days' journey we came to a peak where the beast gazed abroad and cried out. We followed his gaze and we thought that maybe we saw a spire of gold. No, a trick of the eye, that's all. But the beast was gone and a voice was heard